Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I wanted to give you a brief introduction first since this is my first video. So on my channel you will typically find some videos kind of showing behind the scenes of some of my shoots or some of the community events that I may go to or a little bit of travel. And when it's relevant I'll also go ahead and talk about some equipment that either I rented or that I purchased. So I'll talk a little bit more about some of the equipment I use in the shoot you're about to see. It's a relatively short video, it's about 3 minutes, and at the end I will go over some of the equipment if you want to check that out. All right, hey everyone, we are out here today in the DMV. It's a beautiful Saturday, and today I'm here with the lovely
Natalia.
And Natalia, what's your IG so people can follow you and support?
NSARAIV.
All right. Sounds good. You ready to shoot?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So I wanted to start the shoot in front of this wall with all the colors behind it. The thing is, between the time I planned the shoot and the day of the actual shoot, they were redoing the area, so it wasn't complete. I definitely wanted grass there instead of just the soil, so we moved on to the next area rather quickly. And then turn your head a little bit towards me. A little bit more. All right, good. I was really looking forward to this next location, the underpass. Going into it, I wanted some specific shots leaning against the wall, but I also wanted some of the sky and the sun as well in the shot. While I do like shots and poses to naturally develop during the actual shoot, I like to go to areas ahead of time to see where the sun is at during that time of the day to help determine where it may fall in the frame and where the transition from light to shadow falls in the environment. It took a little longer to get the shot I wanted because of the people and vehicles, but I eventually got some shots I was happy with. In this next area, I want to mix it up by getting a mix of standing shots and seated shots. For the standing ones, I want to include the lights that were coming on in the background, as well as some of the sky. And then for the ones where she was sitting down, I want to get a few from a different direction. So for the standing ones, I used the beauty dish with the double diffusion, and for the seated ones, I used a different diffuser. I used an umbrella and shot the light into the umbrella, which reflected back. When I used that umbrella, there was a little bit more specularity that can be seen in her skin, and the shadows were a bit more defined, not quite as soft as when I used the beauty dish. For the final location, I liked it because the sky was beautiful at the time with the colors, but the sidewalk was more narrow and there were cars that were going to be in the shot, depending on the angle I wanted to shoot it at. Of course, I wanted to be considerate of the people that did walk past, even though there weren't that many. On the final note, I did let Natalia pick which area along the wall to shoot at, and I think she made a good selection. Hello and welcome back. So now I want to talk about some of the images and some of the equipment that I use. So there's lots of great cameras out there, regardless of the brand that you like. I just happen to use Nikon. So I used the Z6II, and for the shoot I used the 85mm 1.8S and the 50mm 1.8S as well. So I'm gonna go over one particular shot right now. And that's gonna be this one where you have the green mural art and she's kind of leaning with her back against the wall and her hands behind her back. So first of all, what I was going for was this nice backlighting, and you can see that on her hair. And then you have almost like a little strip of light that goes across her stomach as well too. And then I'm kind of blending in the light that I'm using, which is a Wescott FJ400. It's in a Easy Glow beauty dish, 25 inches. So I'm kind of trying to blend in both. So even though technically the light is behind her, it is kind of coming in and you can see where the light's coming in, right? And she's casting a shadow, but it's also the little bit of the shadow that's coming from the light, which is in front of her a little bit off to the side, okay? And you can see where the shadow falls. I like this. You know, sometimes I like keeping the shadow a little bit tighter, closer to the corner of the nose, but I did like how this was looking. It's a nice soft look, and it still kind of has that directional look where the sun is kind of coming from camera left, it's just that it's behind her in this case. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and briefly show you what I used. So I really like this. This is the Easy Lock 25-inch beauty dish. You can see that. So it has a Bowens mount on there. It comes with, you know, you can do double diffusion, kind of interior fabric and kind of exterior fabric, and there's still room for basically putting a little grid on there that comes with it. So if you want to kind of spotlight the light, which I did in one of my photos, but it all depends on kind of the look that you're going for. I like this one because it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's really light, and if you're not trying to be taking up a whole lot of space, you want something kind of easy to move around, especially when you're shooting outside. I think it's a pretty good option. And it still can give you that nice soft light, though obviously, you know, when I can, I like to go with a bigger light source. But this does work really well in a lot of situations when I'm trying to be more portable. So this shot here is from a nearby area, and you may or may not be able to tell, but the light's a little bit sharper here. This came from using an umbrella. It was a 45-inch Westcott. It's black, and then on the inside you have kind of like a satin color. So it's not quite white, but it's not silver either. Okay, so you can kind of see it's a little bit like silver, but not exactly. So, you know, depending on the look that you want, if you want something that has a little bit punchier look to it, then this is something that you can potentially try out. So you still have kind of soft light, but not quite as soft as the beauty dish I was using. What I like to try to do in a lot of my photos is try to get a little bit of that reflection in the eyes, and you can see that here. Not really big, but it doesn't have to be, but it's nice to get a little bit of reflection in the eyes when you're shooting as well, and try to adjust your light so you can get a little bit of that look. So the last image I want to go over is going to be this one that I shot a little bit later. I think it was around maybe around 7 o'clock at this point, maybe 6:30, somewhere between 6:30 and 7. The sun was going down, and you have a nice gradient in the sky. So it's kind of going from that blue to orange look. And I was kind of adjusting the brightness on the Easy Lock beauty dish, and I was adjusting the height. I kind of wanted to look like there's almost a light above her, right? So to me, the way it looks in this particular image, that there's a light directly above that wall instead of just coming directly from the side. So I did a few different variations of this, but I really like the way this particular look turned out. The colors of kind of that pink and that red, and her makeup around her eyes. It may not be super obvious from this particular picture, but it kind of blends in with that look as well. All right, so I hope that was beneficial. If you have any other questions about any of the equipment that I use, or maybe how I edit some of my photos, just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.